Hi there, my name is Nora Minno. I'm a registered dietitian, certified personal trainer, and a new mom myself. So today's video is really going to focus on finding and engaging our pelvic floor muscles. Now, before we do that, there are some other muscles and some other techniques that we want to think about engaging as we start to breathe and as we start to engage the pelvic floor. So the first part of that is thinking about how we breathe. So breathing, we want to start to think about our diaphragm, which sits right underneath our rib cage. So you can go ahead and place your hand there. As we inhale, we want to think about expanding our diaphragm as well as our rib cage, almost in all four directions. So inhale, expand forward, expand side to side, expand back. And then exhale, we want to start to draw everything inward, like we're wearing a brace or a corset around our center core. These are our transverse abdominis, our deep core muscles. So again, as we inhale, everything expands forward, side to side, and back. And then as we exhale, everything kind of wraps forward as if we're bracing. So I want you to give that a couple practices, a couple tries there, because this breath will not only help us engage our pelvic floor muscles, but it will also help support us as we move through exercises, as we're moving things day to day, like picking up baby or moving groceries from the counter to the fridge. So brace breathing and deep core breathing is really important. So let's try that a few more times. Inhale, everything expands. And exhale, everything braces in. Let's take two more like that. Inhale, everything expands. And exhale, everything braces in. One more time. Inhale, expands. And exhale, brace in. Awesome. So that is kind of our breathing technique that's going to center us throughout the rest of this work. Now we're going to add in the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor is really a sling of muscles, kind of like a hammock that connects from the front of your body at the pubic bone to the back of your body at the tailbone. And it also has points of connection underneath your sits bones. And these muscles are really important. They support our bowels and our bladder and our uterus. And during pregnancy, they soften so they can stretch with the baby as it grows. But after pregnancy, they become weak. So it's really important that we strengthen them and prioritize them, especially as we begin a movement routine. So let's talk about accessing the pelvic floor muscle. So just find a comfortable seated position. And whenever I'm working a set of muscles that's like difficult to access, sometimes using my sense of touch is helpful. So go ahead and you can touch right above your pubic bone in the front, and then place your other hand against your tailbone in the back. Then go ahead, release your hands and place them underneath your sits bones. That's kind of the bony part of your booty underneath. So that is going to give you kind of that visual point of reference of where your pelvic floor sits within your own frame. So go ahead, relax your stomach, your legs, your glute muscles. And we want to imagine like we are gathering all four corners of the pelvic floor that we just identified in and up as we exhale, and lengthen them out as we inhale, going back to that diaphragmatic breathing as well. So as we exhale, everything draws in and up as we're gathering it. And as we inhale, it releases and expands forward. So another way to kind of think about accessing this muscle group, your pelvic floor, as if you're sitting on the toilet and you're trying to stop the flow of urine. So think about squeezing in from the front as if you're trying to stop the flow of urine, and then squeezing in and up through the back as if you're trying to stop from passing gas. So just try that visualizing for a second to see if that works for you. So again, exhale in and lift, and inhale, let it all lengthen and relax. Take two more just like that. Exhale in and lift. Inhale, lengthen and press out again through our rib cage and through our diaphragm. Now let's try just one more position here. Spine long, relax your glute muscles, relax your ab muscles right now. And let's start With a nice exhale, everything draws in and up, almost like you have a crane that you're lifting up through the center of your body. And as we inhale, we want to push forward and lengthen out. Take 2 more like that. Exhale, squeeze in, lift up. Inhale, lengthen and expand. 1 more time. Exhale, lift in and up. And inhale, lengthen and out. It feels really counterintuitive first, but trust me, as you go along and as you practice, it will start to feel a bit more natural, and you'll start to be able to access those muscles more and more easily over time. So pelvic floor breathing, like we just did, seated and kneeling, is something you can do on your own throughout the day as many times as you'd like. Even if you're at work this week, you could do this at your desk, at home. You could practice lying down or in a tabletop position. So with that pelvic floor activation and that diaphragmatic breathing in mind, let's go ahead and head down to our mats, and we are going to take a pelvic tilt activation. So spine is long on the floor, knees are bent, feet are flat on the ground. I want you to start to tilt your pelvis up and forward as you exhale, finding that pelvic floor like we just did. And as you inhale, release the pelvis, let it come back to a neutral position and lengthen down. So take a few like that. Good. As you exhale, pelvis tilts, pelvic floor draws up. You can hold and squeeze at the top. And as you inhale, release your pelvis, lengthen through your pelvic floor. Again, continue. Exhale, everything draws in and up, squeeze. And inhale, everything lengthens and releases down. 1 more, exhale, draw up. And inhale, lower down. Now we're gonna continue that pelvic floor breathing with a neutral spine position and lifting 1 leg at a time. So as you exhale, lift your leg, knee bent, foot is flexed, and as you inhale, lower down. Now alternate sides. Exhale, lift, drawing the pelvic floor in and up. Inhale, lower down. Good. So kind of like a marching position here. Side to side. Good. Beautiful. Take a few more. Last one. Good. Now we are going to drive our heel forward as we exhale, pulling in and up through the pelvic floor. And as we inhale, draw your heel in. Now alternate sides. Good. As you exhale, push forward. And as you inhale, draw in and up. Take a few more each side, finding the rhythm. Good. Exhale, draw in and up. Inhale, pull your heel towards your booty and lengthen. Good. Almost there. Good. Now continue to kind of drive your heel down through the ground to create the tension and to help you go deeper into your pelvic floor muscles. Good. Take 3 more. Inhale, draw in. Take 2 more. Exhale as you lengthen your leg. Inhale as you draw in. Last one. Exhale. And inhale. Good. Now we're going to stay in this position here on our back, and we're going to move into a dead bug position. This is great because it helps us activate some of those transverse abdominis muscles, so our deep core muscles, as we're looking to rebuild our core and strengthen our entire center. So for dead bug, we're going to go ahead and lift both feet off the ground, knees bent right over your hips, arms come up directly above your shoulders. Go ahead and extend the same arm as leg and pull back in, and then go to the opposite side. Extend same arm as leg and come back in. Good. Now, I want you to find your breath pattern here. So exhale as you extend out, and you're going to be pulling your pelvic floor in and up. And other side, exhale as you extend out, and inhale as you come together. Good. Lots to think about here, right? Constantly finding the right breath pattern, the right activation of the pelvic floor. But trust me, this will continue to get easier over time. And you'll be able to activate and find those muscles and strengthen them as you go along. Good, everyone. Take 10 more seconds here. Continue to draw your lower back into the ground. Nice long spine. Last one, and back through center. So go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. And then come back up to a comfortable seated position. So that was great work today. Again, as you go throughout your week, these are exercises that you can go back to time and time again. And as you go along, finding and accessing your pelvic core will become easier, and it will get stronger each and every time. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I'll see you next time.